So, well, friends, good afternoon and welcome to this webinar on procurement trends in 2024. So we talk on the subject like trends. What are we trying to look around? Most likely to shape the future of procurement. So what are the trends we're talking about? How the procurement will look like in 24 or in future as well. I would like to call this as a new era of procurement. We have been doing this program every year. Last year also we did. So when I look at this particular 24, I would call as a new era of procurement. And the focus is on value creation in the supply chain. Because procurement is a key pillar of the supply chain. Supply chain management, you may call, or the total supply chain. So that's a key pillar. So the focus is on value creation. Now, 2024 and ahead, procurement outlook, how it looks like. First thing is, one word if I had to say around, it's transformative for procurement and supply chain. It demands strategic responses to navigate the various challenges. The challenges, as you've seen, obviously the climate change is one. Then we have globally, you're seeing around Ukraine, Israel, all those things, geopolitical issues. All those challenges need some different strategic responses around. In 24, if I say around, India stands, particularly India's one, if you got some of the survey we conducted, the data came from India, stands at the crossroad of a significant transformation, both domestically and on the global stage. Coming back to the, again, achievement of the previous years, I think that underscores, again, this is relevant only for India because we have done excellent work in space exploration. I remember my time, 70s, 80s, 90s, we didn't see much about ISRO. But in the last few years, ISRO has done excellent job. So whether it's a moon side, whether now we are gone on the sun orbits around. So looking at the solar side and digital infrastructure development-wise, solidifying the leadership positions globally. So these are all leading us where to look for procurement. As we stride confidently into 24, the world of procurement and supply chain is undergoing major changes and innovation. Let me touch a little bit about the role of procurement. Sometimes we undermine our own role. If you look at any sectors, aerospace, around 47% is procurement. Chemicals, factories, we go around chemical manufacturing, 53%. You can see around all over the world, it is around 56, 7, and particularly manufacturing of auto, and this goes up to 70%. So when 60 to 70% of the revenue is spent through procurement, so procurement controls the things around. So in short, strong procurement is a fundamental fiduciary responsibility. The success of a company depends to a large extent on procurement and supply chain, because the major funds are spent there. Now, well, friend, in this session, now it's going to be a little different, so I'll be covering up for 45 minutes or something, and then we will have an open dialogue. I want to hear from you guys as well, what trends you are feeling around. Although we got the survey from many of you, but we want to have open dialogue. So key takeaways, the state of procurement. The state of procurement, which I'm going to talk around, is based on the survey, which we did it. Then I took the survey of Amazon also. So I'm trying to combine both. Key challenges and the risk facing the procurement professionals. What challenges are there? Exciting opportunity for changes. What are the new opportunities? Because new technologies have come up. Whether you talk of AI, whether you talk of digital transformation, whether you talk of e-procurement, I've been seeing all these things since 80s. I've been for 25 years in the US, Denmark, so I've done many of things around. I'll try to share those things as well. Navigating procurement towards success. How do we make procurement supply chain a success? What are the key trends around? So based on the background, I'll try to touch on the trends, the way we look at, and based on the survey we conducted with many of you. Objective. So the whole objective of this is navigate the procurement towards success. If you are the bosses of the department, you are the CPOs, you are the leaders, how do we navigate procurement towards success? Now, what is procurement trends? So let's understand a few things around. Procurement trends means what is going to evolve patterns, strategies, approaches in procurement. That's what we're looking at. It highlights the shifts and innovation in businesses and organization manage their procurement, how we are going to manage the process. Shape the landscape of procurement, how procurement should look like. How do we manage the risk around? How do we adopt the market changes? Ultimately aiming for more efficient, sustainable, value-driven practices. That's what we're looking at. Why follow trends? I think trends are very, because even in your personal life also, you say, guys, okay, last year I did this one. This is where, if I want to grow in my career, this is what I have to see. So follow the trends are very important around. Procurement is an ever-growing process. It's changing. I remember the time in '86 when I was in Denmark, heading the research and development department of supply chain. That's the time that came concept of strategic sourcing. Long-term agreements, I'm talking 86, 88, 89. Then came the category management. So this ever-growing process. Now, following procurement trends is essential, certainly, to achieve the best sourcing management in your business of your industry. So following the actual procurement trends and technology will help leaders build better supply chain solutions. At the same time, when we follow the trends, we are avoiding the resource waste. Let's say when I talk of sustainable procurement, so focus of sustainable procurement is to cut down the waste, to cut down the emissions. So those trends will help us to cut down the waste. And obviously they bring challenges. Now, these all things will depend on, keep in mind, the trends which you're going to talk around may not be same for all. Some are the top companies. They're competing globally. For them, the challenges are much bigger. Next comes tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Each one may have different challenges, but one could have a mix of many things. So one size for all will not work. It depends what you are. If you're only catering for local needs, it's different. If you're catering for global needs, it's different. So this trend we try to cover up from the mix of big company and the next big. Benefits of following procurement trends. The very first one I would say around is better supply chain management. Because procurement, you're not doing only procuring, it is managing the supply chain. So it is better supply chain management. As you will know and expect what and when you need to buy something. So that's the beauty of this around. When you need to buy more based on your company's demand. Demand is fluctuating. You plan some demand in the beginning. Then after 3 months, you find, oh, 1, 2 customers are left, big customer. They are not buying. It happened with Infosys some time back. A big customer in the US, they departed. So in those cases, how do we cope up? Staying current regarding sourcing technologies. I might be doing sourcing in a very RFX, or I might be doing RFP, RFQ, but now I want to go ERFX. So sourcing, how do I find suppliers? Can I use AI into that around? So those concepts you want to do around cloud programs. Adopting the digitizations. That means if I'm having e-procurement, I have got the data, can I do the data analytics? And data analytics could tell me what to do next. So digitization could be done. Making the procurement strategy more resilient. I had a chance to do similar program, one program for ISM Japan. So their focus was, how do we make supply chain resilient? Supply chain cannot be resilient without procurement being resilient. So procurement has to be resilient and efficient. If procurement can't procure, supply chain is totally disturbed. So procurement trends help you to cut all necessary costs and protect your business assets. State of procurements. Now this is where it's based on Amazon survey. So they did a survey with all their suppliers. So many people who are the decision makers, they said there's a room for procurement optimization. So there's a scope, which I won't have thought around 5 years, 10 years back, but now when the concept of AI came, concept of digitalization came, so they say there's a room for optimization. Then 85% of the respondents said that difficulty of sourcing supplier. If companies say, guys, we want to become in 10-year net zero. I know big names like Reliance, many Tatas, they're talking about that we want to be net zeros. If you work on those companies, say, how do I become net zeros? So you want sustainable. You will ask the supplier, can you give me the list? How much is the carbon footprint? So if you follow sustainable practices, so there is a difficulties around. But difficulty doesn't mean this will not happen. This will happen, but you have to have a challenge. That's 81% of the respondents have mandates to buy from certified suppliers. And those certified means which are sustainable, local supplier, disadvantaged group, again, like SMEs are people from minorities. So disadvantaged group also are being given, or women entrepreneurs, all those things are being focused on. 80% of respondents would consider integrating AI into the procurement. Last year, we have seen big buzzword, you can say ChatGPT is picking up in a big way. So that is only generative AI, but here we're talking AI in totality. 44% of respondents listed efficiency and complexity as a procurement challenge. So the major challenge is efficiency and complexity because supply chains are becoming complex, particularly when supply chain is global. The material is coming from X country, coming via X, Y way. On the way, the ship is stopped around or damaged. And like last year, we had around the Red Sea was not having problems around. So those issues could affect your whole delivery. Those who are in the auto companies, the chips were not available. So production cannot go out. So those challenges are becoming bigger things. The key challenges, if you look, last year's we had, and even they are creeping up because based on this, I'll talk about the trends. So inflation is certainly there. Supplier price increases there, but you can't increase the price same way. If the inflation comes 10%, so you get the pressure from your management guys, can you cut down the cost by 10%? The customer is not willing to pay more than that. Budget constraints. And then budget, your procurement, your volume is growing big, but you can't hire the people. Your budget is very limited. So you can't hire it. That means your return on investment of procurement has to grow up. If return on investment could be, let's say, 4%, 5%, you want bigger than that. Supply chain disruption. So geopolitical issues. If some things were coming from Ukraine or they were coming through because of Israel and Palestine wars around. So those geopolitical issues are affecting the supply chain, particularly those who are getting their goods or raw materials through global basis. If it is within the country, then it's a different story. Supply assurance and performance. The next thing comes with the collaboration part, which is the key thing. All stakeholders could be inside, stakeholders could be outside. So because when we grew up in procurement, we were more like a silo people, work in our own world, come in the table, do few things, go away. But now the focus is coming how to communicate with stakeholders, how to convince them. Those soft skills are becoming very important. How do we collaborate with them? Competency development of the staff. So competency, what we learned maybe 10 years back or 15 years back, they're becoming not, I won't say obsolete, but you need to upskill them, relearn them. Because technology has pitched a lot in our function. So we need to learn much more. Missing and incomplete technologies around. So these are the ones which will, I think, help us to understand what are the trends coming up. So last, if I say the era of disruption, all of you might have heard the name VUCA. Everybody says, oh, it's a volatile word. V stands for volatility. U stands for uncertainty. C for complexity and E ambiguity. This is what I've been hearing for the last 15, 20 years. But now people say, guy, even VUCA has become obsolete. Now it is a bunny word, more towards chaos. Today you plan something, after 3 months, say, guys, no, this plan is out. Change it. Product life is very short. The days of one car, one color, ambassador car is gone. Each company to survive has to come 4 or 5 models every year. Look at Apple phones. Life is what, 6 months? After every 6 months, new model comes. So the world is becoming very brittle, short product life cycle. Restless and want to know what next. Non-linear. In the good old days, I know in the college we were taught the cause and effect relationship. If this happened, then this could have been the outcome. That doesn't work. In some cases, it may work, but not all the time. So it's become non-linear, incomprehensible. So that's the way world is becoming. So you can imagine from VUCA world, we become to Bani world. So nothing is right or nothing is forever. What matters is to get through the storm and do it fast. You can't wait. You can't say, I don't know, let it happen. I'll wait until things are back to normal. Normal also doesn't become new normal. It becomes a new normal. So the Bani, as I said to you, is a brittle one, anxious, non-linear, incomprehensible. Now to reshape the world, the roadmap, the brittle requires you need capacity. Now you can't increase your capacity overnight. So you may like to outsource a lot. You need to build the resilience a lot. You need to have empathy. Try to put your shoes into the other ones. Guys, how they look around, how customer wants, how supplier wants. Be mindfulness of them. In the good old days, we always thought customer is a god. Now I will say customer and suppliers are more or less same platform. If you don't have a good supplier, you might be a good procurement professionals, you might be a good leader of the procurement, but suppliers are bad, you are going to have failures. But good suppliers will make you success. So anxiety asks for this. Non-linearity. We need to know the context. It is not that, guys, this has happened, I'll do this. Cause and effect is gone. No, it has to link with the context and adaptability. And the last but not the least is incomprehensibility demands. What? Transparency. So that means I will not wait for one step. I should know if there are 100 steps from beginning to end to end. I should have a complete transparency. What is happening at this stage? And if this is delayed by 7 days, what is the impact on the next one? Can I cover up? So transparency and intuition, both are required now. Well, friend, this calls for a major, I would say, paradigm shift. The model of business, of procurement is bound to change. So now come the trends part. So far I've set the background, what changes are there. Now the 7 key procurement trends, let's see how it goes around. It provides, again, multitude of opportunity to enhance the process. It helps you to improve the sustainability. Embracing these trends and proactively adopting to them for success in dynamic world. And falling trends are expected to become the need of the hour. Let me now go through each trend to some details, not full detail, but I'll try to cover. Trend 1 is digital transformation. Now, last year when we talked around the trend, our focus was on category management, strategic sourcing, to some extent digital transformation. We talked about e-procurement. But now we are going next step to e-procurement. That is a digital transformation. Now we are maturing every year. But the relationship with stakeholders are still stuck in the past. Stakeholders means our own colleagues, our own customer in-house, customer outside, our suppliers. Some people treat suppliers still as a doormat. Things are changing. You can't live in that past. People don't regard procurement as a true partner. So this is also a problem around that if I look the whole iceberg of procurement, people think procurement only does is sourcing and negotiating, not negotiation. There are 2 words, negotiating. Can you cut down the cost by 5%? My budget does not allow me. That is negotiating. But negotiation means you plan. How much should be the cost of this? What is the market price of this? So that is the word, you plan for negotiation. Here, normally if you look around procurement means you know the supplier name and then negotiating 5-10% discount. and you say, my job is over. That does not get the profile of procurement. Procurement profile means doing supplier relationship management, doing the risk management, trying to cut the cost around, bring new technologies around. So procurement role is much bigger. And many people, I would say, they don't know. Even within your own family, you ask someone procurement, oh, you're buying something. So procurement is still treated as a buyer. You're much more than buyer. You're not a tactical guy. You are doing strategic function. It is still seen as a tactical function. So we have to have a journey from tactical to strategic, and that is what starts from digital transformation. So once you do digital, that means you have the data, so you have information, you need to analyze it. It becomes strategic function. During last few years, if I say the role of procurement has gained a lot, particularly after COVID-19. Before COVID-19, it was still tactical role, mix, I would say. More or less, I visited many of the companies in India. So when we work with them, now digitalization of procurement promised to create an interconnected and transparent ecosystem. Digitally, you are connected. Starting from the raw material source, my tier 2 supplier, tier 3 suppliers, all those, if my system is well connected, then I'm having the ecosystem of my supplier, ecosystem of my customers, complete are there now. So this is where we come around. The whole concept has come from industrial revolution. Starts from 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. So the 4.0, which now we are living in this 4.0, even the 5.0 is also in the pipeline. So here we are talking around using the technology of these. 3.0, when I came from my college, from IIT 69, 70, it came around, we were having robotics to some extent. We had CNC machines. So the computerized numerical control, but they were all working again based on the program. But today, the machines and the men and machines are all connected. You can see the Wi-Fi connection there. That means I might be sitting at home. I can move the plane. I don't have to be in the seat itself. Machines are working in the factories, but I'm controlling from a remote. Because we are all connected. While in 69, 70, when Industry 3.0 came, we were not connected. The machine will give me the signal sitting at home, guys. This part is going to be completed. Please load the next one. I press the button and the machines get loaded now. So we need various type of technologies around Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, big data, 3D printings. So these are the technologies which are coming into 4.0. If you're using them, when industry becomes 4.0, supply chain also becomes 4.0, then within supply chain, procurement also becomes 4.0. So when we get to 4.0, then we say it's a smart. The word smart procurement, smart supply chain, smart logistics comes when we are using these technologies around. If you look at the whole detail, I mean the trend, it started in 80s, strategic procurement. It started typically after 1982, after this 2x2 matrix developed by Peter Krause. So he said, okay, the whole procurement can go into 4 boxes. Strategic procurement, routine procurement. Then I got the one where I can have got many suppliers, less risk, but money spent is very high, then the bottleneck. So he converted that. Then came the e-procurement, started from 90s to 2000. Then came the digital part. Now, this is the one the trend is moving now. So in e-procurement, we had ERFX, e-auction. I know many of you guys are doing it. Spend cubes, e-contract, e-catalog. Now in the digital, when I get those data around, I can analyze the data. Then I can just plan what is going to happen. What is the trend of this one? So that's where we go to the digital. So this gives you a good idea around degree of process automation, MRPs in 1970s. So when I came from the college, and I know when I was working with Tata, we had MRPs, materials requirement plan. bill of materials were there. So based on that, it will tell me how much you need to buy for making 10,000 pieces, how much is in the stock, then according to that, I'll do a procurement. Then came ERPs. But then came the next e-procurement. Every word is E. E-RFX, e-auction, e-contract, e-SRM, supplier management. So once I get to the E, that means my data is available to me in a digital format. I don't need to scan the data because my purchase orders, my everything, every information is available electronically. So once I have the data, I do data analytics, the next one, Procurement 4.0, or you may call smart procurement. So wide range of technologies which are used for Procurement 4.0, Internet of Things. So that means you have the sensors, you have RFIDs, and those sensors, you set it up for temperatures, humidity, whatever you want. Information goes to the cloud, and from cloud, if I have the passwords, connections, I get the complete information. My medical supplies are coming from X countries. I want to see where is my ship. What are the temperature of my goods? What are the humidity of my goods? I can get all that information. I don't have to ask someone, don't have to call someone. I get those things. Similarly, the machines are working in factory and I'm sitting at home. Through IoT, I'm getting all the information. So we need certainly the cloud and cybersecurity, big data, data analytics. Manufacturing technologies, 3D printing has come in a big way. In India also, many procurement people are using 3D printing for spare parts. I know one of the airline company, they wanted impeller, the fan parts. So the main supplier told guys, this will take 1 month. In 1 month, keeping a plane of $300, $500 million idle, no. The guy went for 3D printing and got it done. Virtual augmented realities, autonomous transportation within the warehouses, advanced robotics. So these technology, when we start using it, we become Procurement 4.0. So we have the areas like digital procurements, S2C, source to contract, P2P. I know this is picking up in a big way, and supplier management. So these are the 3 key pillars I would call in procurement. Source to contract under part of strategic sourcing. Those of you who are doing strategic sourcing, category management, I know last 2 years I've done myself a lot of programs on this. Some of them are available on YouTube. So second, we did on P2P, what type of softwares, how to do it. So this P2P is becoming automation. S2C is becoming strategic and becoming more visible now. Supplier management. I want to check the performance of suppliers. Which suppliers are doing good job? If they're not doing a good job, then what do I do with them? Should I get rid of them? So we are becoming proactive. We will not wait till I grumble and find it's too late. So we need performance at the right time and take a decision also on the right time. But digital transformation is no longer optional, I would call around. So certainly, this is based on the MIT studies around companies that have embraced digital transformations are 26% more profitable. Profitable means the cycle time has gone down. I remember a company I happened to see in Bhopal, I visited them. For them, it takes 40 days from the acquisition till placement of order. If those 40 days, I can make it to 10 days, my process becomes faster, my inventory level goes slower, less in number, so my money is saved. So this is what we're looking at. Now, the benefits of the digital bandwagons, if you go into this, happier users, removal of tedious tasks, significant return on investments, better decision-making, improved agility. The customer demands could be fluctuating. So demand forecast, which comes around from the salespeople, on an average error of 30–40% is there. So if you start planning based on this, either you will have more inventory or less inventory. So you will have unsatisfied customers around. So we need ongoing changes. So we have to be agile, cut costs, trend to. The very first one I wanted to emphasize is on the top is digital transformation. Number two is also not less than one. I mean, it's going parallelly. This subject was discussed in COP28 in Dubai, the recent meeting which happened. Now, even another summit which is happening in Gujarat, there also our finance minister said, we want to get net zeros. If India has to cut down to net zeros by 2070, the time is very far, but still we need $10 trillion. So the focus is there of the government to cut down emission. So we want to be net zeros. And when we talk about net zero, some people say, what is this to do with procurement and supply chain? Every company, every organization, even at home, when you buy goods, you buy means somebody makes it. Somebody transports it. And all of them are creating sustainable. They are creating emission. And we want to cut down the emission in transportation, in storage, in manufacturing, everywhere. So this is where it comes around environmental and social responsibility no longer optional. So we're not talking only the greening part of the procurement. We're also looking at the social responsibility. The person from where we buy is not using a child labor. The person is giving a reasonable salary to the people around. So environmental and social responsibilities are no longer optional. Sustainable procurement practices are now critical part of supplier selection. So when we select the suppliers, they're very critical part. So we want to know, guys, is this even the weightage part? 20% or 15% is becoming in Europe very common around. So we have a price parameters, we have technical parameter and sustainable part. Sustainability could be around 15 to 20% weightage. The question comes, if somebody says my product is more greener, how do we check it? So the only choice is if I can get, if this product is a greener means less carbon footprints. So now people are working in Europe, I would say they are much ahead. They can tell you how much carbon footprints are. Like in the refrigerators, air conditioner, we say it's a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star. 20 years back, who talked about it? Nobody. But now we're talking of, under the BEE of the Government of India, we can get certification. It's a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, depending on the power, electricity consumption. But now same way on the carbon emission also we'll get 5-star, 4-star based on that. But carbon emissions, somebody has to calculate. So there are formulas available around, but then there are many companies, young people are coming around in this business. And once they get certified by the government, so they will become the bodies to sign for you, tell you whether your emission is so much, and based on this emission, you are so and so. And then you can give a weightage for selection. This is essential to manage the climate risk. We all have gone through the climate changes. You have seen that. And we are still suffering around. The wind, if I see in the north part of India, winter is still there, which should have been in December. Everything is disturbed. Some places where it's supposed to have rains, it is drought. And those places which are drought are becoming rainy. So everything is changing. And we are all worried if temperature goes up. India's temperature has gone up by 0.65 degrees C. Worldwide, if it increases to 2 to 3 degrees C, the water level will go up. Some cities will be drowning. There will be surge in sustainable procurement jobs. And this is also expected now. This change is going to happen. When we talk about carbon again, carbon footprints, so we are cutting down the carbon footprints in the raw material. That means I cut down the usage of raw material. I mean, if I was buying something, if I can become more efficient, I cut down the raw material. So basically, I cut down the carbon footprint. Logistic transportation. The transportation part is becoming good vehicles, electrical vehicles, so possibly less emission. Then you'll say to create electricity, I could have solar system. So if you take the whole chain, then I could cut down the carbon emission. Manufacturing also. Today, I might be using the thermal power station, which are from the coal-based, again carbon-based. So now if I go to manufacturing, where energy comes from solar, wind, or I cut down more efficient machineries around to cut down the energy consumption, I cut down the carbon. Recycling. So nothing should go to the land, Mother Earth, until it has been recycled. There's aluminiums, even the batteries of the car, electric vehicle car. So far, it is based on lithium. But lithium is alive, 8 years, 10 years. And the battery is alive, so you can recycle. So now EV business is going very fast. So in the US also, many companies are coming up with this recycling of the batteries. So recycling is another one. Otherwise, the whole thing will go into the dump, to the either sea or earth. Now, supply chain, when we talk of emissions, sustainability part, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. So those who guys want to go into big details of this, we will be doing one program in the month of April. We have done one recently. But again, broadly, I would say around scope 1 is what you do within your own office, your emission. Scope 2 means your factory is providing you electricity and all those things. Scope 3 is the one your supplier. So 80% of your emissions come from this scope 3. Your supplier X versus Y, how much is the scope 3's emission? So major emission is here, and that's what we need to get it calculated either through the formulas or through algorithms. So that's really good. Trend 3. So first was, as I told you, digital transformation. Second, I told you about the sustainable procurement. And sustainable procurement, there are ISO standard also there. So ISO standard also you have, so you can read them and understand much more. Another trend which is coming around, I would say more relevant for the big countries. And particularly those in the past, if you look around, there was only one global hub, China. And if you have geopolitical issues or some other issues, how do we get the goods? The trade balance is a problem. So they became the manufacturing hub for the globe. I remember the time when I was studying in US from MBS, we used to focus on globalization. Now people are saying, guys, globalization is good, but you have to keep in mind, that's why I talked about the reshoring and nearshoring. America is also now thinking of how can I get nearshoring mean in, let's say, Mexico? My carbon footprints are less. My dependencies are there. If one country you depend on, if that country doesn't deliver you, you are in trouble. So now they're becoming more hubs of supply chain. More hubs means even Vietnam, Indonesia, in Africa, many places around, they want to have hubs. Even Chinese companies are going and investing there to install those. So we are trying to think of more hubs for manufacturing. So that's what is affecting. But once we get to the nearshoring and reshoring, your supply chain becomes shorter. So in the process, we are cutting down the carbon footprints. So that's where I think the focus is coming around. And India is also trying to become a global hub. At least for our own manufacturing, we don't have to depend on others. So portal bottlenecks, parts shortages around, shipping cost contributes a lot. Earlier, we were focusing, how can I cut my cost? But now, the cost of the raw material has got down, but then the transportation costs, other costs around, there's a bottleneck on the ships are coming via X country or Y country, and they damage your ship. The whole thing is destroyed. On the way, there's a tsunami. Again, there's a delay. So people are looking into different approaches. This will help in improving the resilience of supply chain, and it becomes new era of resilience. Keep in mind, the word resilience means even if bad time comes, you go a little bit down, but then you're back again. This terminology comes from engineering, which we were taught in the colleges around. Guys, you bend something, you leave the pressure, it comes back. Same thing with the companies. When company gets a bad time, they have some defect, but the moment things become normal, it is back to again, square one. Trend 4. This is the one I would say very important around in the supply chain collaborations. So in the chain, when I talk around is supplier, also my other stakeholders, which are internal and external. How we deal with them, that's very important with them. So we have not to be in a silos function. We have to build up the relationship with them. Even if you look around very places, when I ask for the people, guys, how do you write the message to supplier? Do you send them greetings ever? Supplier send you greeting, but you never send any greetings to me. The relationship part is missing. And some people are so good with their suppliers, they'll call them at the midnight, guys, I need this item tomorrow. Supplier will say, don't worry, you will get it. But if you trouble them, then they will trouble you when you need something. So think of collaboration both in and out. So I think this is no longer an option, collaboration, it's a necessity. So we cannot live, procurement people cannot live in silos thinking, guys, okay, I'm paying money to the supplier, but supplier is delivering you good things. So you need a good relationship. If you want to improve efficiency, you want to cut the cost. If supplier has a trust on you, you have a trust on supplier, great. That's why the word came SRM, supplier relationship. In the good old days, we had CRM. Then now it is SR. The trend 4, if I look around next, is harnessing AI. I know AI is a very hot topic. I could have put very first, but based on the data, what we got from many of you, so it came as a trend as a 4. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing procurement by automating routine tasks. So AI will tell me, okay, guys, if this item is minimum this level, the moment it level reaches this, automatically places the order. Because supplier is fixed. I've got a long-term agreements. Think of Walmart. Think of many companies, even manufacturing companies. You have minimum levels. The moment the item reaches minimum level, computer knows it has reached to the minimum level. Supplier is already fixed. Prices are fixed. It places the order. So this is where we're saying around routine tasks are being automated. They're all data-driven insights. So I will say, guys, can you check around the performance of this supplier in the last 1 year? I get the complete insights. In January, their performance was 80%. March, it was 100%. I can get all the information. Then I can go back to the supplier, tell me why it was so low. In 2024, organizations should explore AI solutions to drive efficiency, solve complex problems. Technically, the way I look around AI, artificial intelligence, it becomes your digital twins. Today, I'm the single person, I'm working on something, then I'll tell my AI, that's like my twin, please check, give me the trend, give me the graph based on the past data. And in the meantime, once the trend comes to me, I can do the next thing. So in the process, your efficiency goes up. Leveraging AI can free up procurement teams to focus on strategic activities. AI-powered analytics can identify cost-saving opportunities. So that's how we look at it. Understanding AI, I'll take few lines because we are doing one program, similar webinar only on AI. In month of February, we are doing on 3rd of February. So, but let me give few ideas around. When we say AI, we mean algorithm, nothing else. And don't think AI has come now, it has been for many years, except generative AI has come very fast last years, but AI has been in the call. Even when I was studying in my call, even that time also we had few these things around. So that means it's machine learning, NLPs, big data, advanced analytics. So machine learning helps you to get the patterns. Now, generative AI, I'll just take one slide for you guys. It's a buzzword of 2023, but it will become very powerful, very strong, very active. It can help you to check the various type of contents, including the text. You say, guys, can you help me to develop the text? It gives you. Even my office's people also use images. You give the whole story of the data, it'll give you a 2 minutes video of this. Images are there, audios are there, videos are there, graphics are there. So it has all cognitive intelligence as well. It can understand the figures also. So synthetic data also. So this has picked up in a big way. ChatGPT, I'm just giving one name, let's say ChatGPT. Many others are coming up. Google has come with its own, everyone is coming with it. AI in its form is a critical part of this. And some have already started using Chat GPT for procurement also. So soon we will also come with a training program, how to use Chat GPT for your procurement activity. Key ways in which generative AI will benefit the procurement industry includes increased efficiencies, in-depth market analysis, risk mitigation, spend reductions, sustainability, compliance. Using AI, obviously it's becoming a very important part. So let me go quickly on this. So we have RPA versus AI. So we have robotic process automation, which is to some extent process-driven. But this one is data-driven. The machine learning and the artificial intelligence, that's very one. We have been using RPA for many years. It's not a big thing. Robotic process automation, so they're all process-driven. If this happens, it's a cause and effect. If this happens, do this. But this is the data-driven. So my data has to be analyzed. And based on the data, we take a decision. So we have machine learning based, then artificial intelligence. This is deductive type. So this is where I written down 4. Descriptive analytics. It provides me insight what has happened. Predictive analytics helps model and forecast what would happen. And prescriptive means seeks to determine the best outcomes among various choices given the known parameters. So this gives you prescriptive one. This is predictive ones. Now, predictive ones means it gives you, but doesn't mean that you allow this machine to do everything. Then you read it as a person, and then you say, guy, no, I will change this way. So it basically becomes your digital twin. Trend 6, very important to all of us. The word called T-shape. In colleges and schools, particularly colleges, when we go to the professional colleges, we are very hyper-specialized. Hyper-specialized means our skills are like an eye. We know only silo approach. People have been working in procurement for the last 15 years. They know, okay, guys, how to identify supplier, how to select, analyze it, and okay. But not more than that, how to look at the balance sheet, how to read them, what is the performance of the company for the last 10 years? Is this company going to survive or not? Very silo approach. Our specifications have been given to you by your customer. Can we change it? Make it more friendly? Cut the costs around? Can I change the raw material? So that's silo approach because we only think in our own silos. So now people are saying, guys, that will not work. We need a holistic view. So that means the procurement professionals of the future, particularly at the leader level, they need to be T-shaped. So the T-shape means the top horizontal stroke calls for other functions. So you need ability to collaborate with other functions. If I'm the head of the department, I'm the CPO of the procurement, or I'm the leader of the function, I should be able to collaborate with the customers who are giving me, guys, go and get this. With finance, with this, with marketing, with sales, understanding all that things. So you need a holistic understanding of the function. So T-shape means I'm looking around. When the day you move from procurement and you become the head of the supply chain management, you can't say, I only logistic, I know. You can't say, I only know procurement. I only know manufacturing. I know customer service. These are all silo things. You need to have a good understanding of all subjects. So the other ones, which I'll try to explain, the core means, core is this one. In addition to functional, on procurement, you'll learn how to procure. How to conduct reverse auction, fine. You know how to do the bidding. You know how to award the contract, how to make a purchase order. But that is not all. That certainly you have to be the expert, no worry. But on top of it, you need soft skills. How to manage people. You need to understand what is sustainability part. How to analyze the strategic thinking, empathic to negotiation. How do we negotiate? What we have learned is a negotiating, but not negotiation preparation. How many of us prepare for negotiation? Negotiating, we know 5%, 10% discount. Sometimes people think the procurement people are only 5%, 10% discount people. No, we need to learn how to work it out, the BATNA and VATNA, and then work it out, the planning of it. And then we also need to know in functional part, we need different competencies in procurement. So competency is not only sourcing and negotiating. We need much more than that. How to do the risk management? How to do contract management? So that competencies are required. Around 7, we have 18 under each one. Then we have our 3 levels, very beginner levels, intermediate level, and a master level. So this is where we need to reskill, upskill, whatever you may call around, we need to. Now look at the last trend. Integration with supply chain. Procurement is not now alone. It's becoming slowly a part of the family of supply chain. When I look 10, 15 years back, even some companies still, supply chain means they think is the logistic part, only transportation. Procurement is separate. No, my friend, procurement is becoming a part of the supply chain. So that means those who are good in procurement, they have a right to become the head of the supply chain. So this gives you for the last so many years, starting from 2000 years back before Christ, that means when the Gaza and the pyramids were made around, later on we have gone to the risk managements, we've gone to the 1900 series, then years 1822. So it goes on like this till 95. If I say 1995, the first time they came with e-procurement. And the present day, we're talking of AIs, we're talking of autonomous, all those things. So this is to give you the trend of the whole evolution of procurement. So that means the trend 7 calls around is separation of procurement often stems from historical reasons. Historically, we were all in silos. I'm in procurement. I'm in logistics. I'm in transportation. But the things are not complete until all are connected together. So we need a holistic understanding, end-to-end visibility, cost optimization. If I show the next one, this is where it shows you 60s were all fragmentation. All functions are fragmented. Demand forecasting, one guy is doing sourcing or purchasing, one is doing procurement planning, one is doing production planning. Then 80s became the consolidation. People said, guy, no, this is materials management. I know in public sector, they are now calling still materials management. Many private companies, Tata's, I remember 70s, we were calling as a materials management, warehousing, all were independent functions. But now with the technology, with the IT, which has connected everybody, we are going into the value capture. So it is becoming supply chain management. Many big companies I've seen now, they're trying to integrate all the functions together and becoming supply chain. And that's where they create the capture. If I want to show in a graphical way, this way, look at this boat. One guy is dealing with production planning, one guy is dealing with procurement, one guy is dealing with logistics, so 2 people are suffering, but the whole shop is suffering, the whole supply chain is suffering. So we want all of them to work together. We have a common objective. So if you go 10 years back or 5 years back, no, I am in logistics, I'm in the transport, I'm in planning. But the end of the day, we're all together. So this is where we want procurement is integrating into supply chain. So better you integrate faster, you will do a better results now. Now, when we come off this digital transformation, what is affecting it? Our existing staff, organization staff is like this, pyramid type. We all have learned in colleges also, in business school also, pyramid. O is the operational activity, T is my tactical activity, and S is strategic activity. Very few people. If I say there are 100 people working in procurement, operational people will be around 70%. 20% would be tactical, only 10% will be strategic. So when I was heading the UN complete, I had around 2,000 people all over the world. I had 70%, 75% who were doing operational job, just run and go and get the goods. Tactical job is 20%, 10% strategic. But now when we go with this digital transformation, O is getting automated. T remains more or less same, but strategic become bigger. So now this comes, if I use AI, if I use this, people say AI will lose the job. I won't say lose the job will be displaced. So I know many people think around this is going to be job loss around. But the way I've seen around, it will become O is gone less, I agree. But then S has become bigger. So the job has been displaced to the senior levels. So some T people will have to be trained to become S. Some O people will have to be trained to become T. But those people who don't want to learn new things, new skill, they will certainly become redundant. So this is where we talk about ugly duck of transformation. So this whole thing is getting changed. But change, keep in mind, it's not easy. So change can be uphill task. And keep other factor also in mind. If you don't change, we become redundant. So Woodrow Wilson once said, if you want to make enemies, try to change something. Everybody wants complacent. But without change, we become stagnant. So in a global world, difficult to survive. So I think Peter Cottle has come with a beautiful model around how to do it. So creating a climate for change, engaging and establishing the whole organization, implementing any change you want to bring around, particularly when it comes to digital transformation, AI, I think is very important that you go in a scientific way. Closing thoughts before I give the floor back to you guys. Procurement is a game changer with the right tools and skills. Now, if we want to cope up with the change at the macro level, we need to reimagine falling change. First thing is use of technology to improve transparency and efficiency. Collaboration with supplier and stakeholders, SRM, very important. Sustainable procurement. Cut down your carbon footprints. Skill development. You have to become T-shaped, particularly those people at senior level. Those who are senior level or intermediate to senior level, they have to become T-shaped. They can't be with the I-shape. Only one thing I know, that's one. Integration with process. The process means you want to ensure continuity of supply. So procurement has to become procurement, logistics, warehousing, inventory management, all have to be combined together. They are very important too. Continuous improvement is Kaizen. So sometimes what happens is we think, oh, we have done a great job now. We can relax for a lifetime. No. Here, Japanese tool comes around. Every year we have to, every month actually, we should have a meeting among our team. How can we improve further? What are the key problems around? So this needs a brainstorming all the time within your team around. So continuous improvement is a part of the life. Integration with process everywhere, any countries, people, processes. If you integrate them, they think common message. Otherwise, procurement thinks my objective is this. Logistic thinks my objective is this. And inventory management thinks my objective is this, but objective is only one. And that has to match with the company's objective. So this is where we talk about this. Well, friend, with this, I want to thank you all for the patient hearing. And now we come to this open dialogue. Now, I would love to hear, I know I'm okay with, if you want to take more time, I'm available. If anybody, one of you want to start, any one of you guys, I can see in chat somewhere 4 things. Any one of you want to start, my friend? Any thoughts you have on this trends around? Anyone, guys?
So, thank you, sir. Myself, Manish, I am calling from some Reliance group.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please. Go ahead, Manish.
Yeah. So, you have talking about this sustainable procurement. So, is there are some courses after going through those courses, it will be easier for say people to switch over the jobs and go to some higher levels?
Certainly, because the demand is there. All big companies now, they're creating a section for sustainability. So we also have started, we have done few programs, and now next program we're doing in April. It's a 3 days full-time program, and then there'll be exam, those who want to get a certification. We will train people first the concept of sustainability, how to identify how much is the carbon footprints, particularly scope 3. So we'll explain how to identify the whole concept, and legal part also we'll explain, because the legal part is also very important. If somebody says my product is green, technically it may not be green. So we will teach on the green, you can say legal side, how to calculate, how to support the supplier, all those things. Yes, Abhishek. Manish, you want to say anything further?
One more thing was there. You are also covering some courses how to select the good companies during while doing the procurement side.
Oh,
Any course
that's a
related to
part
that?
of that's a part of it. How do we select? What criteria we do it around before we select X and Y?
Barrier for digital transformation, sir. I would
Yes,
like to hear from you.
no, digital transformation. No, digital transformation, before going to digital transformation, you need a data. And data will come from e-procurement. Somebody will say, I've got an ERP. ERP gives you data, but from analyze the data from ERP. My own problem is there. I tell you, 2004, I implemented ERP globally for my UN 200 countries office around. But then I was very happy that, oh, we have done ERP implementation. But then after 5 years, when I was leaving as a chairperson, then I said, guys, this has become outdated now. It doesn't help procurement. It's a wonderful enterprise system to connect my organization. But for the procurement, for the finance, it's a wonderful. But for procurement, what do I get extra? I want to connect with my suppliers. I want to have an ecosystem. I want to know exact what is going on. I want to have a supplier's data bank. If I tell to the data bank guys, can you give me the list of speakers? You should pull out the information from. So that's where the problem comes up. So digital has to be done.
Sir, good evening, sir. This side Pankaj Goyal from Reliance Group.
Yeah.
Sir, we know that, sir, as per CBC guidelines or other regulation, we can have dialogue or discussion with L1 bidder only after post RA. But after post RA, the price discovered is very high as per our estimation. In that scenario, how we can reduce or have better negotiation?
Now, this is where I know we are stuck in the two walls around. But again, if you look at the World Bank, which is also doing public sector procurement, they
Right,
have come up with a new guideline. They say, guys, you can do competition, no worries. But then you have to you could do follow by the e-reverse auction. So you could do electronically reverse auctions around and you put down what you want, minimum benchmark.
After post RA, only we do the post, we do the RA, but after RA, we also discover the price which is very high with our estimation in some cases. In that case, vendor didn't agree to reduce the price because he knows they can have dialogue or discussion with L1 bidder only. They will not go with L2 or L3 and so on bidders. In that scenario, we stuck generally. So Indian government has to change the rules key and allow the negotiation with other bidders and post RA.
I agree with you. Indian government still has not come with any guideline on this around, but in the public World Bank, what we are doing around is, guys, you do the competition, then do tell them that they will be followed by e-reverse auction. It's a part of my bidding document. So they may come L1, L2, L3, and I'll say, guys, so now one which has come with L1, I'll put down L1 price as a, let's say, the benchmark.
Right.
And others can also bid, and then it goes down. So we are giving ultimately what public sector want. You want transparency.
Yeah, transparency must, yeah.
That's all. And the transparency, I'm telling them upfront. I'm not coming later on out of my thoughts around. I say, guys, okay, you will go through the competitions. And then based on our data around, we'll come with a benchmark and then we'll have a reverse auction.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Anybody wants to come on the trends part? What are you feeling around? Are they going to be practical? I know many of you come from very big companies around. So what is relevant to you guys, you think, in your plan? Because January is already there. Come on, guys. Anyone's? How many of you done e-procurement already? Any one of you? Are you still? Yes, please. I can, Abu Bakr, you want to say something?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. I've already sent my question through the chat, but I can still say it. I'm calling from Sierra Leone, West Africa. So the question is, how can procurement professionals work with other individuals in other sector to actually improve sustainability in conducting procurement?
Okay, now you're talking of sustainability mean in your own sector, or you want in other sectors?
Well, I work in procurement, but you have to understand, just like during your presentation, procurement work in collaboration with other units and departments within an organization. But a lot of the time, you find out that some other members of other departments might see themselves as not part of procurement, even though it affects them directly. So we try to talk to them, we try to bring them over, but a lot of the time they seem to be busy, waiting only for the process to finish before they can come in. That's why I'm asking that question.
Excellent, excellent, good, because I got confused the word sector. Sector, I thought mean, let's say you are in auto sector, you want to talk to the pharma sectors. So sector mean you're talking other people, other functions, basically.
Yeah, within the same entity, I mean.
Excellent, excellent. What do you write around? I think the approach would be that you will have to form a working team, which will be called sustainable team, to promote sustainability. So then you will be members. Members could be from manufacturing. Members could be from customers, the people who are designers and procurement. And possibly we could get some idea from supplier in advance. Then we say, guys, you are given this design. Can we change the material to this? If we change this, we can cut down the reduction of wastages. We can cut down the cycle time. So that's the way it goes. Let me give you a very good example on this. So I think it will be more practical. I was in the design when I started my career. So procurement people came to me, said, we were making the refrigerator. Let me take a simple example. Handles was there of the refrigerators made of brass, chrome plate. And the wastage was too much because the brass casting had too many blowholes, but to fill it, chrome plate. And we were making 1 million refrigerators per year. The guy who came from procurement was a very smart guy, I would say. Not much education, but he got some idea from suppliers. Why you're using brass? There's a material called ABS, acrylic butadiene styrene, which can be chrome plated. And the beauty of ABS is it can be molded in hundreds. So that means the cost could be cut down literally by half. And we could say millions of dollars that time. So this guy comes up. Now I was in the design, a very junior guy. And then I said, guys, the story goes back really more than 40 years back. So when I said, guys, now if I want to change and if this product fails, my job is gone. Nobody takes a decision, you know very well, in silo thinking. So then we arrange the people around. He said, guys, this is the thought from this company. And this saving will bring out so much. It will become more sustainable. So then the group said, let's try it out. Because when you bring the concept of price, everybody starts supporting you. But they also worried about the quality part. So I figured, okay, let's try on a pilot basis. It worked well. So we didn't. So I agree with you. Individually, nobody will be able to take a decision. You will have to form a collective team. But any decision you take should be on two parameters, the cost part, because the finance will not agree, the cost to go up. And until the management says, yes, on the name of sustainability, we are willing to spend more money. So let everybody gives the cost part is very important. Second, how sustainability wise, carbon footprints wise, am I cutting down the carbon footprints? Yes, then fine. Some parts are made in a, which we call as a subtractive technology. We take a big block and then we cut it out. The wastage is too much, it takes more time. Then there's another technology which has come up, 3D printing for not all materials, but some materials, which can be done with no wastage. So then you have to justify to the team. So procurement people are becoming more important, I would say. They have to take a lead role. So far, they have been at a back end, but now they have to become the leader, I would say. So that's the way. You have to form a working group alone. You will not be able to move this much faster. I know, Abu, did I cover somewhat? Otherwise, if you want more details, particular one, I'll be very happy to answer you separately. You can send me the question. I'll be happy.
Thank you very much. I think you made a lot of clarity on that. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Vineet, you have something? Vineet, I can see your hand.
Good evening, sir.
Hi,
So
good.
what will be our strategy when we negotiate with OEM vendors?
Sorry, you want when you're creating a courier?
for OEM vendors, when we are negotiating with OEM vendors, what
Yeah.
will be our strategy for that?
Sorry, Korean vendor, what should be our
O,
strategy?
OEM vendor, original equipment manufacturer, OEM vendor.
Okay, now got your point. So when we say OEM is fine, but if you can change the design, because I know your hands are handcuffed, more or less. Oh, is an OEM supplier for this item, I can't change it. But OEM, somebody else can also do it with few changes here. But this is left to the design people. If design feels this is the only item, this is the only supplier, you are putting a supplier on the platform. And then supplier will not cut the cost. And if you want to bring a change, if let's say I'm in the procurement and I know my department has design people have said, this is the part, this is the supplier, they have approved it, and that becomes my OEM supplier. Now, if I want to come with the new ideas, yes, I have to fight it. Now, this is where I feel Japanese concept of Kaizen has to be done. So I think this has to be done in that way.
Sir, I just want to make one more question. My name is Manish again.
Yeah. Yes, Manish, go ahead.
Sir, I have seen when the people apply for government jobs after working in a private job, say 15, 20 years. So for higher post, say director level or something like that. So government normal board is does not consider that qualification as a sufficient qualification.
Okay.
Which I believe I have seen as a normal trend, but I have never get an answer. How people can build a more qualification on that side.
Okay, now let me answer because I'm myself an example of that around. I worked in private sector through and through around 15, 20 years. Firstly, I was with Tata's 7, 8 years in Bombay. Then after going to the US, I worked with many private sectors in manufacturing. And then later on, I moved to the UN. UN was more like a public sector. But then I was even preferred around, to be honest. So, and I felt around, I could bring some good ideas of private sector into the public sector. I changed my procurement manual, which was running around 150 pages. I changed it to 40 pages. I asked my procurement people, do you read all these pages? He said, no. Only auditors come and they say page number, this, you have not followed it. So I was very lucky. Maybe I was lucky that way, that I was a full freedom to change. I was the director in the beginning and became chairperson. So I think some people want to take a risk, they do it, they succeed. So it is, I think to me, that if you come from private sector, you get good ideas around. Public sector is a very simple formula. Fee quotation, lowest price. But private sector, you have learned many things which you can bring it there. So it's a very, mindset of the people, I could say. Okay. Ramesh, I think is there. Ramesh, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Ramesh? Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, sir, and thanks for the valuable presentation. My question is on supplier performance management. Usually, when we try to rate the suppliers, most of the companies, big companies, they use the ERP system and get the quality ratings, delivery ratings, on-time delivery, and then give a get a rating from the system, and they communicate to the suppliers. But in realistic point of view, when you check the for a supplier, if you go down and check whether the actual the ratings are it's a realistic one, but it's all the system that calculates. But in practically, if you see, the supplier may be good, but there is some sort of delay happened, and the material inward has delayed. But so the system calculates in a way and treats the supplier as somewhat underrated. So do you think that supply chain professionals still need to analyze these things and then give a subjective rating out of the system, or is there a way in the system can be improved to give a realistic ratings, so that it can be communicated to the suppliers and they can improve continuously?
Okay, now let me put this way now, because since I've also gone through the same thing. Now I had around 20,000 suppliers globally for all my country offices. Now, if I go with the subjectivity, then it's a never ending, let me tell you. So I would love to support objectivity. And objectivity, what I did around was, and this is, I'm talking of 2008, 15 years back. I had taken 5 parameters: price, delivery, quality, quantity, after sales service. Now, price, if somebody has fixed X price, and later on they come with a change, whatever reasons may be, and I came with a scoring concept of 1 to 5. 5 means excellent, 4 means very good, 3 means good, poor, and the very poor. And scoring was, the formula was already designed. I placed a lot of key role around anybody who maintained the same price through and through till the payments. Automatically, computer knows it in ERP. It gives a score of 5 out of 5. But for some reason, this guy grumbled, oh, I made a low bidding, I can't survive. So then the scoring will go to 4, 3, 2, based on the formulas. Purely objective. So computer does the scoring, I don't do anything. I had 20,000 suppliers, I'm not going to waste my time on that. Second, on delivery. If delivery is mentioned as 20 days, if it comes in 20 days, fine. If it is delayed by 1 week, score goes down from 5 to 4. If it delayed by 2 weeks, it becomes 3. More 2, then becomes 0. So scoring is given automatically. 5 means 5 star. 4 means 4 star. Then similarly on quantity. I have ordered for 1,000 pieces, I get 1,000 pieces. Scoring is done according to that. If it is less, then scoring is less. Quality. Quality means, again, quality, it's a meeting my requirements. My quality control department has cleared it. I'm not questioning. If it is cleared all the pieces, full marks automatically. If it less pieces are, some are rejected, 10%, scoring goes from 5 to 4. Then we came down to the next one was after sales service. The product for whom I bought. I bought for X department, Y department. They will go online and they say, guys, I'm not happy with this. This supplier is not supporting me. I'm having a problem with these things. So if they give scoring 5 is fine. If they give less, I always wanted them to give a reason for that. So now computer has done all these things. I have not the least spent even a single minute except creating a formulas. So then I would say, guys, after every 3 months, can you give me the list of suppliers whose scores are less than 3 or less than 3? It gives me a list of 2,000. And then we have automated email, goes to all 2,000. Guys, based on this information given by the ERP, I'm not saying it is Krishan doing around or somebody else doing, my computer has generated. And then it goes to them. And then I ask them, guys, give me the justification. How do we work with you in future? And those who did 5, 4, I gave them a wonderful rating to them. So ideas, I think technology is helping us a lot. So we don't have to become subjective. The day you become subjective, you will be questioned by everyone. So please, subjectivity has to be kept out. Try to come with new formulas, new ideas. Let computer technology help you. In my generation, when I have gone through all the technology, you are all young people, depend on technologies, depend on processes.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else, guys? I can see Isaac is also there. Wisdom. Anyone, guys? Any questions? Anything?
Yes, sir. We have.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. This is Isaac from Nigeria. Thank you so much for this presentation. It's very useful. Just to chip in, one of the trends I also discover, especially in public sector in procurement, is the mainstreaming of gender in procurement role. So I think it has become one of the main requirements for procurement officers to know how to mainstream gender in their procurement roles. And this requires that we may need to start learning how to do that without conflicting the fundamental principles of public procurement. I think it's an area we need to explore. Thank you.
Excellent, Isaac. Now, I know very well, good old days, people always thought, when we say the principle of procurement, procurement I always take as 4 P's. First is principle, then come the policy, then based on policy, we have procedures, and last is practice. The principles, if you look around, everybody says my principle is value for money, equality for all. So basically, the focus is value for money, and then we just stuck with L1. I think it doesn't, to me, it's a contrary. So we have to come with the value for money. I think World Bank has taken a big initiative. I remember the time, 20 years back, when I was coordinating between the World Bank and the UN, I used to travel a lot to Washington. So when I said, guys, what do you mean negotiations? They said, no, negotiation is out in public sector. It breeds corruption or something, whatever they said. I said, this can be done in a very scientific way. So now when we have come with the new guidelines, we call New Procurement Framework of the World Bank of 2016, because I do the training for that, for the people, I'm sure many people come from Nigeria, Sierra Leone. We have a next program starting from Monday. And my focus is, my first lesson is on this. You want value for money, and value for money can be achieved many ways. So we work on that. And even negotiation also we allow in a very proper way, like e-reverse auction. So we promote it.